There are very many oil and gas opportunities in Canada that you can be able to tap into. And this can either be to improve or advance your career in the oil and gas industry, or to actually generate more business leads from the oil and gas sector in Canada for your existing business, which means your business would be able to generate more revenues. And in this particular video, I want to share with you 3 broad areas that you can be able to look into, especially if you are interested in looking at the oil and gas opportunities in Canada. Canada is one of the largest oil and gas producers in the world, and currently you're actually going to find out that Canada is the 4th largest oil producer in the world and the 5th largest natural gas producer in the world. What this means is that oil and gas contributes significantly to Canadian GDP, employing a lot of people and also generating significant revenues for government through taxes and royalties. It is also a very good source of business opportunities, meaning that there are quite a number of businesses that make money within the oil and gas value chain across Canada. And these are some of the opportunities that you might be looking into. Those are the opportunities that you can get when it comes to getting jobs, when it comes to being employed, or at the same time, you can be able to participate across the oil and gas value chain from an investment or a business point of view. You can be able to invest across the oil and gas value chain and build a business that generates revenues for you, or that can have positive return on investment for the shareholders. Oil and gas production in Canada is diverse. You can get oil from the oil sands, you can have conventional oil, and you can have offshore oil and gas production. Oil sands, primarily found in Alberta, actually contribute to a huge percentage of Canadian oil production. When you look at it from an economic point of view, you're going to find that oil and natural gas are significant and critical components of Canadian export. They contribute significantly to their trade balances. And the industry is expected that there will be more investment towards more infrastructure as well as technology, with a focus on growth and sustainability. Such infrastructure projects include like the one being done by LNG Canada in Kitimat, British Columbia, which is one of the largest investment that has been done in Canadian oil and gas industry in recent years. The oil and gas industry in Canada is divided into 3 segments. Those are upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors. What this basically means is that you can be able to get either job or business opportunities across those 3 segments. It all depends on what it is that you want or how you want to get involved across the oil and gas value chain in Canada. When it comes to upstream oil and gas activities in Canada, this involves the production of crude oil and natural gas. And as I had mentioned earlier, you're going to find a lot of these activities across various provinces such as Alberta and British Columbia, among other places. You're also going to have offshore, you are going to find offshore upstream oil and gas operations or activities in places such as Labrador or Newfoundland. And what all these activities provide you are opportunities for you to either get a job or to do business in this upstream space in Canada. But you need to be able to be clear on what it is that you want to do and the oil and gas business opportunity that you want to actually chase in Canada. Because you might not be able to do everything, but at least you can be able to tap into something based on what value you can be able to add to the upstream oil and gas operations in Canada. So you can look into the oil and gas opportunities in the upstream sector in Canada, either when it comes to being able to produce oil or crude oil, or being able to be part of the production of natural gas. In Canada, when you are discussing or looking at opportunities in the midstream oil and gas subsector, you're actually looking at opportunities related to transportation or storage of crude oil and natural gas. And here you are talking of transportation from the production sites to processing facilities or to the refineries, which can be found in central Canada, and sometimes you need to transport that raw material or low crude or low natural gas to the United States for processing. So some of the opportunities that you can be able to get involved in when it comes to the midstream oil and gas sector in Canada would involve such things as pipelines for both crude oil and natural gas. You are talking of tanker trucks, rail transport and storage facilities for crude oil or natural gas. And some of the exciting new opportunities that you can be able to get involved in include the development or construction of liquefied natural gas terminals, which are going to, for example, be used to export LNG to global markets. And as I mentioned, one of the most recent projects related to LNG is being done by LNG Canada, a project that is being undertaken at Kitimat in British Columbia, and actually they have started exporting LNG to the Asian market, which is a big one for Canada because now they can actually be able to access the global market without necessarily relying on the United States LNG market. And that's a very important point because it helps Canada to diversify their market, meaning they can be able to sell their LNG to other places even when they have, some trade issues with the United States. So as you consider oil and gas opportunities in the midstream sector in Canada, you need to be able to have the broader picture of what is going on within that particular sector so that you can be able to decide on either the kind of job that you want to undertake or to get engaged in, or the kind of business that you'd want to start in the midstream oil and gas value chain in Canada. When you think of the downstream oil and gas sector in Canada, you need to start thinking of refined petroleum products or distribution to the end user or the final consumer. And this is actually a subsector that deals with the finished products being able to get to the consumer at various points of sale. And in Canada, you have refineries or you have refined products such as gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and petrochemicals, among very many others. And this is a sector that comes with a lot of oil and gas opportunities for investors who want to get involved in this subsector. And if you're also looking for a job or an oil and gas job in Canada in the downstream bit, you can also be able to look at how you can be able to get involved in the downstream oil and gas sector in Canada. So take your time, do additional research, and actually understand the downstream oil and gas sector in Canada so that you can be able to figure out the oil and gas opportunities that you can be able to tap into when it comes to the downstream oil and gas activities in Canada. To be able to tap into the various oil and gas opportunities in Canada, you will be required to come up with a clear plan of action or a clear strategy. That means that if you are interested in oil and gas job opportunities, you might be forced or you might be required to evaluate your skills, your knowledge, your expertise, and experiences so that you can be able to decide on the kind or the type of oil and gas job that you are going to be looking into. And if you are looking into the oil and gas business opportunities in Canada, you will be required to be clear on the product or the services that you can be able to provide so that your business or your organization can be able to add more value across the oil and gas value chain in Canada. As you can be able to see, whether you are seeking a job or a business, there exist oil and gas opportunities in Canada that you can be able to tap into. And it boils down to your objective, your goals, and what you're actually interested in when it comes to these oil and gas opportunities in Canada. And so, if you would want to learn more about oil and gas industry in Canada, watch the video or the video series on your screen right now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and I'm going to see you in the next video.